Okay, so good evening. Oh, good evening. Good afternoon, Nicole. I hope you had a great day. Well, I played enough for you. So you have some problems, I guess, right? But as I can't wait anymore because I'm going to lose my time, we're gonna start with today's classes, right? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you, right? Give me a second, please. Okay. So you're gonna find our class recorded in our YouTube channel. Well, I actually guess that you're looking for it right now. You're watching from YouTube right now. So okay, we stop in adjective clauses review expansion, and okay, we've seen auxiliary verbs for emphasis, right? Now we're gonna look for a review of phrasal verbs, right? This lesson, it's a short one. So once you can, I hope you can see my screen because I'm sharing it right now. And okay, there you have it, right? All right, so this is a review. Again, as I told you the other day, once we finish all the lessons in English, I mean, talking about the grammar part, we have to continue with some review, with a review of many of the classes of the lessons that we've learned before. So this is the case of the phrasal verbs, right? This is not something. This isn't something new, right? So let's start.
Hi, I'm so happy everything has worked out so well. Talia's and Amy's hard work has paid off. Both of them have new jobs. And Nick may not have won the championship, but it seems that he's won Talia over. Phrasal verbs like work out, pay off, and win over are so important in English. Let's review them.
Okay, so we have has worked out, has paid off, has won Talia over. Okay, we have these phrasal verbs: worked out, paid off, won Talia over, right? So first of all, let's remember what is a phrasal verb, right? When we say phrasal verbs, it means, well, we talk about a verb, right? And this verb contains two parts, right? We have the verb plus the particle, okay? So let's listen to the audio.
Phrasal verbs are verbs that have two parts, a verb plus a particle. Turn out is a phrasal verb. Turn is the verb. Out is the particle. The particle looks just like a preposition, but it is actually one part of this two-part verb. The particle often changes the meaning of the verb. Let me know how things turn out. In the example, turn out means have a particular result. As you can see, the verb turn plus the particle out has a completely different meaning from the verb turn by itself.
Okay, we have these two parts, right? We have the verb plus the particle, it is called, right? Turn is the verb, and now this is a particle. It looks like a preposition, but it's not a preposition, right? It's one part of this two-part verb, right? And then this particle often change the meaning of the verb, right? For example, let me know how things turn out. Okay, turn is the verb, out is the particle. Something that we have to remember is that when we say, when we use the phrasal verb, right? I mean, turn has a meaning by itself, right? When we say, or when we are gonna mix it, we're gonna combine it with the particle, right? It has a different meaning, okay? So let me know how things turn out, right? The meaning of the complete phrasal verb. It's like let's see how it's going, for example, right? Like have a particular result, okay? That's the difference. So for that, we have to take care, right? So you can change. There's some verbs that that you can conjugate it with different particles, right? Turn it, turn down, turn off, turn on, right? Turn down, turn in, turn into, right? We have a lot of, right? But you have to know the difference, right? So for that reason, I would recommend you to have, or maybe to know the most frequently verbs used for the phrasal verbs, right? Then as soon as you know the meaning of it, you can use it a lot. It's most frequent in spoken English to use phrasal verbs, right? Of course, you can use. You can't use if you want it. You can avoid it, right? But it's more common, right? It's most common. Now we're gonna continue with point number 2.
Some phrasal verbs are inseparable. This means that the two parts, verb and particle, always stay together. When an inseparable phrasal verb has an object, the object always comes after the two parts of the verb.
What do you think of the commercial?
What do I think of it? I think it's ridiculous.
In the conversation, the noun, the commercial, and the pronoun it are objects of the verb think of. Both noun and pronoun objects always come after an inseparable phrasal verb.
Okay, we're going to continue with these inseparable phrasal verbs. As you know, we have phrasal verbs that are inseparable and some of them are separable, right? First of all, let's start with the inseparable phrasal verbs. This means that the two parts of the verb, right? I mean, the verb plus the particle, right? Always stay together. I can't separate them, right? When an inseparable phrasal verb has an object, right? The object always comes after the two parts of the verb. For example, in this case, we're going to identify what do you think of the commercial? We have the phrasal verb, think of, and we have the object, right? Think of it. And then we have the phrasal verb, right? What do you think of the commercial? Okay, this part, the commercial, is the object, right? I can't put it at the middle, right? What do I think it of? It sounds weird. This is incorrect. Why? Because think of, it's inseparable phrasal verb. And so you have to take care in that part, right? You can separate those verbs. And we have a PDF list for it, right? And then you have to take care. Okay, so we have a PDF list, so then you're gonna recognize it. You're gonna try to understand the meaning. Try not to memorize at all, but try to understand the meaning. Something that I used to do, it was maybe when I had the PDF list, I used to give, or I used to write some examples, okay? And then I used to write maybe 3 examples of it, and each day I used to use in my everyday life, you know. So with that, you are going to understand better, okay? In the conversation between Amy and Talia, the noun, the commercial, and the pronoun it are objects of the verb think of, okay? Both noun and pronoun objects always come after an inseparable phrasal verb. So it will be incorrect if I'm going to say, what do I think it of, right? Now we're gonna look for the 3-part verbs, right? These 3-part verbs are inseparable, right? So let's listen to the audio.
Some phrasal verbs are used with certain prepositions when they have an object. We sometimes call these combinations three-part verbs. Three-part verbs are inseparable.
Things have worked out for you, Nick.
The phrasal verb work out means stop being a problem. We use it with the preposition for when there is an object. We don't use the preposition when there is no object.
Yes, they have worked out.
Okay. These three-part verbs, right? It means like the formula, right? Or the parts of these verbs are the verb, okay, the particle, and the preposition. Okay, so the only difference is that, and something that I want to clarify, these could be three-part verbs or not. It depends on the object that you're going to use, right? For example, things have worked out for you. As I have the word you, the object you, then I'm going to use for, right? Because it will be incorrect if I'm going to say worked out you. No, it doesn't have any meaning. It doesn't make sense, right? So that's the reason of why we're changing the two-part verbs into three-part verbs, right? Then they have worked out. As you can see, the same phrasal verb, but in this case, I'm omitting the preposition for. Why? Because I don't have anything here, right? I don't have any object. So we don't use preposition when there is no object, okay? So you have to take care in that part again, right? What else can we say? Give me a second, please. All right. Now we're going to continue with the separable phrasal verbs. This is very easy. So let's listen the point number 4.
Many phrasal verbs are separable. This means that the noun object can come either after or between the two parts of the verb.
I turned down the job. I turned the job down.
Okay, we're going to continue with this point. Many phrasal verbs are separable. This means that the noun object can come either after or between the two parts of the verb. For example, you can place it, this is your object, right? This is the noun, the noun we're placing at the end, or you can place it at the middle, right? I turned the job down, right? Or I turned down the job. So both options are okay. There is no any problem. So the only thing that you have to know is what kind of verbs are separable and what other ones are inseparable, right? That's the only thing that you have to know. For it, you have to memorize the verb. As I told you, not at all, but you have to know how to use it. And maybe the most used in English, yes, that's gonna help you, right? Because in English, we prefer to use phrasal verbs instead of the verb by itself, right? For example, run into, it's a phrasal verb. Run into means like meet someone by accident, right? But the verb is meet, okay? For example, I met you at the park, right? But we don't prefer to use it. We prefer to use phrasal verbs. So that's important. That's the reason why you have to know all of the phrasal verbs. Now, we're gonna continue with point number 5.
When the object of a separable phrasal verb is a pronoun, a word like him, her, or it must go between the verb and the particle.
Why did you turn down the job?
I turned it down because I didn't want to move.
Okay. When the object of a separable phrasal verb is a pronoun, an object pronoun such as him, her, it, and then it must go between the verb and the particle, right? It's not like it's up to you now. It must go between the verb and the particle, right? For example, why did you turn down the job? That's okay, right? Because the job, it's not an object pronoun, right? It's a noun. I turned the job down because I didn't want to move. But if I'm going to say, if instead of saying, instead of using the noun, right, I'm gonna change it into a object pronoun, an object pronoun, I'm gonna change it, right? So it could be replaced by it. So I'm gonna say, I turned it down, right? Not that I turned down it. So I turn him down, I turn her down, I turn it down, right? So you have to take care, in that part. Only when it's an object pronoun, you have to place it in the middle, right? And just that's all, right? That's all. Let's continue with the last point, number 6.
Remember, we use phrasal verbs a lot, especially in conversation. Phrasal verbs are often more common than their definitions. For example,
I ran into my cousin yesterday.
is more common than
I met my cousin by accident yesterday.
Okay, we're gonna continue we're gonna finish with point number 6. When we use, this is something that I told you, right? We use phrasal verbs a lot, especially in conversation. Phrasal verbs are often more common than their definitions. For example, I ran into my cousin yesterday. It's more common that I met my cousin by accident yesterday. This is the example I gave you. And the second example, I met my cousin by accident. It's too large, right? And I don't know if you remember, the other day I explained you this. In English, we try to speak in a contractive way, right? And I don't know why, right? Natives always talk like fast, and more than that, when they do that, they omit some words, right? And they try to use, well, not they don't try, they use phrasal verbs, right? Because when you don't, the sentence sounds a little bit more longer, right? And that's what maybe we don't want to do, right? So try to use phrasal verbs a lot, right? Something that I recommend you is to memorize 3 phrasal verbs per day. In that order, you're gonna practice each day per day, and you're gonna know how to use it, right? It's gonna be easy. It's not difficult, but you know what is the problem? That we have too many phrasal verbs, right? So you have to know in what situations you're gonna use, and maybe try to identify the most common. So yes, that will be right. That will be everything about point number 6. Now, before to continue, I'm going to assign you the quiz, right, from the other lesson, because you told me you have some mistakes. And okay, it was C3, and I'm going to assign you, and I'm going to assign you the homework, right, for this week, because we already finished, right? I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, there you have it. Okay, now, okay, you have adjective, clauses, review, extension, auxiliary words for emphasis, and this is the lesson. Let's see today. And you're going to practice your pronunciation, the reading, the writing, and yes, I guess this one. No, this one. Okay. All right. So you're going to have this, and I'm going to give you until what date? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, until Tuesday. Wednesday, until Wednesday, okay? I'm gonna take a pic of this. And, okay. You're gonna have until midnight, and you're gonna have an hour, almost an hour to do. And okay, what else? Okay, you're gonna have the model answer at the end of the exercise in case you made it in a wrong way, and that will be everything, right? So I wanted to ask you some questions that maybe you asked me for message, right? We have we finished with person, right? With Pearson, but you have to take the 13 and 14 course, right? Where is I'm looking for the, okay. You have 4 classes, okay, for A13 and 8 classes for 4 classes, A13, 8 classes, A14, right? So we need 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 12 classes, if I'm not wrong, right? Yes, 12 classes rest, right? In 12 classes, we're gonna finish the class, the model, and then, right? So as we finish the lesson, right, I was thinking maybe doing the homework, but I would prefer you to take it, right, today. And if you have any question or then, let me know, right? And finish the classes before the time, because the TOEGAO personnel is at home, right? So they're gonna correct my internet. They're gonna fix my internet. I don't know why. Yesterday I had some problems with the internet. It was terrible. So I don't know why they came at this hour. Okay. But if you have any question about the class, just let me know. All right. So I hope you had a great weekend, a great day, and I'm gonna see you. We're not gonna have classes on Monday. Monday and what day? Monday. Oh, I guess only Monday, right? No. Monday, Tuesday, right? So if you have any question, just let me know to my DM, okay?